Not just Loveland looking to transform its police department. The city of Aurora also has to make changes to its police force following the death of Elijah McClain. On Wednesday, the state attorney general's office announced the findings of a 14-month investigation. And this scathing review found that Aurora police officers often arrested and used force against black residents more than white. And the investigation's findings come as Aurora Police Department is rapidly losing officers.
That's leaving the city with no choice but to spend thousands on overtime just to keep enough cops on the streets. Tonight, Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer Kovaleski explains why this is putting the entire department in peril.
The politics that have been involved are just destroying police departments.
Aurora City Hall is no longer boarded up in plywood. More than a year since the violent protests of last summer. But the unrest within the city's police department is far from over.
Shame on all of you!
It has been extremely rough.
Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson knows it's a problem. She says her department has lost nearly 200 officers since last year.
Do you take any responsibility for the staffing shortage?
People are leaving. So I obviously, as a leader, I have to reflect and say, is there something I can do better?
Fewer officers wearing the badge means more are being asked to work overtime. Extra hours just to make sure police can respond to your emergency.
If it's a life or death call, we are on our way. And if it's a property crime, it's going to probably wait.
We have records showing more than 700 hours of OT in a little over a month.
It's extremely concerning.
Internal records obtained by Denver 7 Investigates show Aurora officers clocked in 719 hours of overtime from late June to the end of July.
The overtime issue it's a huge concern.
Mark Sears is the head of Aurora's police union. He says while all that overtime is keeping cops on the street, there's another, less visible cost.
They're getting burnt out and they're not getting the support that they need.
Conversations happening behind the scenes detail how dire the staffing shortage has become.
I can't remember the last time I didn't see on a daily basis a request for overtime.
Take a look. In June, District 1's watch commander sent an email saying, 3 below critical staffing needs. Minimum staffing is a fantasy.
Minimum staffing is a fantasy? Wow.
We shared the emails with Aurora's Mayor Pro Tem, Francoise Bergen.
I'm very frustrated. Public safety is the #1 priority, and enough is enough.
Another email, this one from July, basically begs officers to work overtime, saying, I am not getting any responses for swings today. I am 6 under minimum and 3 under critical. You guys have any extra bodies?
The call wait for individuals calling in is longer than I'd like, longer than I think city management or council or anyone in this community would like.
Chief Wilson says when they can't meet minimum staffing, the department calls in its emergency response team. But those are only for major calls involving violent crimes or missing persons.
What do you want to say to the community who want police to respond when their calls come in?
You know, I'm telling them that we're doing the very best we can.
We fight what they fear by working all night long, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you want to be able to sleep well at night and not have to worry about your family being victimized, you better start caring about the police department.
Powerful words from the head of the union and Aurora's police chief. Chief Wilson says they're paying for all of that overtime with savings from officers leaving. They're also working to hire more officers. But it takes more than a year for new cops to work the streets alone. They have to go through the academy and training. Why is it so hard to keep officers in Aurora? Chief Wilson blames the shrinking public support for police, changes in state law, and the battle to reform the department. She says those daily email requests for overtime aren't going away anytime soon, but she does not support mandatory OT. I'm Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer Kovaleski.
And Aurora's not alone here. Other departments have lost a large number of officers as well. Going in depth for you, the Denver Sheriff's Department down nearly 200 deputies since 2020, while Denver PD has lost more than 160 between 2020 and this past July. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has lost a little over 100 deputies as well since the start of 2020. Lakewood PD has lost 55 sworn personnel.
And it's not just a problem facing police departments in Colorado. In Minnesota, the Minneapolis Police Department lost a large number of officers after the murder of George Floyd last summer. In May, the Star Tribune newspaper reported nearly 200 Minneapolis police officers either quit or retired in the year following Floyd's death. As of July, MPD had just 669 sworn officers, leaving it well under the 730 required by the city's charter.